some listener questions real quick before we get out of here. Again, thank you for everybody who puts these up. God, these people are mean. Okay, here we go. No, this is nice. Has Josh Myers really shown improvement? Or no, he says, Josh Myers has really shown improvement. No. Let's get a bigger sample size on that one. How did Sean Ryan hold up these last two games going through the film? Many were concerned originally. Well, it's like they're first of all, he's playing against some two really good players there. Justin Simmons is all pro, and they didn't run the ball very well up the middle, and he's certainly part of the reason why. I mean, Justin Simmons is better than he is. That's fair. But the Packers are finding ways to be successful. Otherwise, I think the biggest thing we talked about it before, the Titans didn't really have a chance. Like they haven't been running a ton of games and stunts and like all the stuff that frees them up. Usually they don't run it that much this year, and then they certainly couldn't run it with us because it's like a who's on first play every time they hike the ball. Has Wyatt's technique improved or is he just thriving in the scheme? I think it's both. I think we just saw it. I think he's evolving. Third year, clearly a high value pick coming out. So the talent's there, and it's just a question of putting your stuff together. If he plays like this, he's going to have a lot of zeros behind his contract. I know that. Okay, here we go. What differences are there for yourself or any seasoned vet, when a new runner enters the backfield? For example, do you step or move any differently from Amon to Tony Fisher? No, we do nothing different. Absolutely nothing different. If there's a consensus at how things are to be handled, and quite frankly, the running back is the better athlete and has the not the easier job, but like I'm trying to move a human a place he doesn't want to go, and you need to be able to be fluid and move off me, not the other way around. Are the recent Walker penalties being caused by poor technique, fitness, or something else? Okay, so the one in the game in particular that kind of pisses you off is they're trying to run outside and Josh Jacobs cuts inside, so he's got outside leverage and he's grabbed the guy. He's got him on handlebars, which is good. But then when the back goes the other way and he gets caught holding, it's like the sack when you got a guy locked out and the quarterback runs around you, and then all of a sudden you're like, dude, I have him gripped. Like it's almost like the ref shouldn't call that. I mean, I know that they have to. I remember I used to get called on like Keith Traylor. Like Keith's like 360, so like you could grab anywhere you want. Basically, the guy's massive, right? So I'd have him locked in. And then like Amon like cut backside, and he's so big that like when he moved, it was like the earth moved this way, so your hands are not in front of you; they're over here. All of a sudden, you get called for a hold, and you're like garbage. Okay, Jenkins never get. Boy, you guys are real negative on the holding calls. I guess because it's Josh Jacobs thing. He never gets called for holding. What did you see? Refs bad for you? No, they're not blaming the refs. No, he does hold. He usually has good inside hands, but again, same thing. When you got a guy that's as like shifty as Josh Jacobs is, sometimes he shifts from like your right side to your left side. And if you got a guy locked out, unless you have him like kind of moving backwards, they're going to call it. 100%. I was going to ask if there's technique different than Walker. No. What if you see him on film during Matt LaFleur's tenure? Would you consider him an elite NFL play caller designer? Yeah. So what you've seen is an evolution from Aaron Rodgers probably completely running the show to half and half, checking a lot of line of scrimmage. Then you see, obviously, last year his full first season is like I have to be responsible for everything that goes on in this offense. The early struggles with the quarterback and just kind of learning the system and really learning not the quarterback, but like learning how to call it with a different guy. And then, I mean, they've been on fire. I mean, you don't score that many. He scored 30, so he really scored, 20? So 23, they had a bunch of turnovers. So it's like, how many points did you earn, that kind of thing. Last week, you don't score a ton of points, but you run for over 200 yards. So it's like you're playing complimentary football. You're putting up these crazy numbers. The other team only had like 40-some plays. So when I say he's an elite level play caller, I don't know how you wouldn't based on what he's doing right now with the backup quarterback. How did Malik Willis go from being discarded to a dominant running and passing quarterback? Was it the scheme, the receivers? Blah, blah, blah. Okay. So the Packers are doing a better job of putting a guy like that. So first of all, we have a much more user-friendly. If you look at the Tennessee offense from last year and the Packers offense right now, which one is more user-friendly? Like, it's not even close. Far more user-friendly. So I think that's number one. The utilization of the weapons around him, like, again, we didn't run the ball very well, and we ran for 180 yards. We didn't run the ball very well where you're supposed to run it, but because your quarterback gets 73 yards, because your wide receiver gets 50 yards, you ran the ball pretty well. And so they're just doing a great job of finding the soft spots in the defense. Like in this case, we talked about it before the game. Linebackers, eye discipline, man. Like you see car, chase car. The car I wanted was going the other way. And like the coaching staff has to be doing a great job with this guy. He has to be working extra. Like when you see it, when you see a quarterback come in and do well, no, it's because of hard work. Seems like the left side of the line is struggling. No, I'm not going to say that. Lack of urgency and intensity on the final drive first half concerns me. I can't imagine why. Was clock management was poor. Okay, well, you can't like that against better teams in the league. Yeah, that's fair enough. How are you trying to win the game? What's your priority? Your defense is playing extremely well. Do you want to be concerned? Like you have a backup quarterback in. This isn't Jordan Love full go. We're going for MVP in 2025, right? That's not what we're doing right now. How do you think the cornerbacks are doing? Picks are nice. Hopkins is better than Eric Stokes. And that's I was going to put a couple plays on there, but it's like Eric Stokes is still an unproven guy to me. He made a couple tackles in this game I was really impressed by. But look, you've got an all-pro on one side. You've got kid's going to be an all-pro safety, McKinney. You've got a young safety who's going to be an all-pro someday. But you've got guys back there. Stokes needs to, everyone needs to kind of haul their own weight, and I'm sure he'll continue to improve. As a player, especially on the line, how cognizant were you of the officiating crew part of the game? More so as you got older. In your experience, players alter their technique? Absolutely not. What they do is, what we try to do is, we try to do the same thing all the time, which is get away with cheating. And what we hope for is we build a rapport or a reputation, either a rapport with the ref or reputation on the field, that you will get the benefit of the doubt, and a guy will be like, hey, Mike, like, hey, man, don't hold him. Like, I used to have this one ref, I forgot his name. He would tell me, like, I don't know, 13 times a game to not hold the guy. Because, at one point, I'd get my hands inside most every damn play. That was one thing I could do really well when I was older because I watched Flanagan do it all the time. And he would like, don't hold him, and you're always like, I'm not holding him. Like, this is how I'm supposed to beat him. So you have those relationships with the guys eventually. Let's see, this guy, I love a breakdown of what the DL linebackers were doing to take over the game. I hope I showed that to you. Approximately how many yards is Josh Jacobs lost offensive abilities? I think 100. He says 100. I think so. Who are you most impressed this week with on offensive defense? It's hard not to say McKinney every week on defense. Jair had the pick six. McDuffie had a great game. Quay did some things I thought were fantastic. I think linebackers, let's say the linebacker group had their best week this week for sure. And I already said on offense, Malik Willis. Why or why not would a sumo wrestler be a good recruit through international pathway? They'd have to lose a ton of weight. You know what they look like underneath. You got to run in this game. Rasheed Walker and Clinic Arc breakdowns, please. I think I did that a little bit, not with Kenny, more with Preston and certainly with Enibari and certainly with Devontae Wyatt. Player best 11. So this is an interesting question. When Love comes back, what do you do with Willis? I don't think you have a package for him. I don't think he's a Taysom Hill guy. I think that you continue to develop him because you have a real resource that you can trade. You got to remember, guys, like the Packers, when Brett was here, Mark Brunell, Doug, Aaron Brooks, Matt Hasselbeck, Kurt Warner. I'm missing guys. They were just dudes came through here like gangbusters. They can do that again. If Malik Willis, if you had never seen Malik Willis play in Tennessee, and you said that was the first game you ever watched him play, Matt Flynn, who didn't pan out because of Russell Wilson, but you would go, if I was desperate for a quarterback and I saw that style of play and I thought I could put that offense in, I'm paying him. That was easy. So I'll be honest with you guys. I don't even know who we're playing next, and I don't really care. It was a fun week. I love like running football. The only thing that makes me sad is I know that they can't do this forever. Like I know that we can't run the ball 36 times. Hit that button, subscribe, rate, review us. Audio-visual equipment is coming. Until then, you're going to have to look at this. No makeup. See ya.